All right, I thought we would just give a little update here. I've had a lot of messages on social, on Facebook and whatnot about the storms tonight, and I thought, you know what? I'm watching them anyway. Let's talk about it. So this is the radar. It's just after midnight, and we'll note that there is no watch in place for Central Alabama. They had extended the watches through Mississippi. Right, this afternoon there was some good storms. In fact, there was a tornado warning back near Yazoo City, but for the time being, things are much quieter. The strongest part of this line is likely back here near Louisville. And you see this little segment here. We're looking from the Columbus radar, so that's a little bit closer to this line. But this is what's ultimately coming into Alabama, and we'll have to watch for occasional gusty winds. Again, these storms are not particularly strong at the moment. Our atmosphere is very stable. So what the heck does that mean? That means as you go up in the atmosphere, there's not a huge departure in temperatures. There's not going to be a lot of rising air, a lot of rising motion. And because of that, we typically see these storms die down overnight. It leads to kind of suffocating the storms, if you will. And honestly, it's not an environment that is typically conducive for a line to continue. So I'm going to put this in motion here. We'll stop the sweep and we'll play. And kind of a wide lens here. That'll show what kind of where it's headed. So I'm going to toggle off the watch here, the severe thunderstorm watch, and you can just see the active warning. That is for Noxubee County. That is right up, butts up against Pickens County as well as Sumter County. So that would be coming into, say Reform, Aliceville, crossing over US 82 in the next 45 minutes or so. Again, don't have any reports here. It's pretty rural out there, but makes me feel, decent about the fact that, hey, that's our one warning in place, and for the time being, it does not look to be an immediate threat. So obviously something we will watch as we move forward. But a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning earlier today, and today it's just not really showing up. So what we've got here is a setup where you can watch the track, watch the lightning. That's one of the fun things we can watch as far as like a little tidbit or a little cheat hack, if you want to call it that, for meteorology, is when you see lightning totals go down, just look at this sweep. 84 strikes all the way down to 53. Now, it's kind of gone back and forth, but I think the general idea is that this line is continuing to weaken, and we certainly hope that is the case. So we'll toggle over to our watches and warnings after we look at the outlook. So the way these outlooks work, and I know a lot of people get sort of confused on this, and rightfully so, they actually issue an outlook from 7 a.m. one day to 7 a.m. the next. So it counts for the overnight part of it. And what that allows these outlooks to do is it carries it through an entire 24-hour period. So technically this goes until 7 a.m. It will be over before that happens, but that is a look at who's involved here. And this is kind of a local look. I'm in Birmingham, so Hamilton, Haleyville, Fayette, points east of US 43, which runs through Fayette County, Tuscaloosa County, and points south. That's really the only areas I expect these storms to still stay on the stronger side. So look at the regional view here, and you can see that is a tornado watch in place for Mississippi. Crystal Springs down to Natchez. You can take the Natchez Trace over there. Beautiful. One severe thunderstorm warning again, and that'll be pushing into, as I mentioned, West Alabama. That'll be Pickens County. That'll be Lamar County if it holds together. So again, something we will watch here as we move forward. All right, let's go to our Future View product here. So this is the HRRR, and since the day rolled back over, we got to reset our timestamps here. I'll do that. Okay, this is essentially what's going on right now. You got that band of storms coming through. So as far as advancing the time here, we will see this crossing into, say, the I-65 East Alabama range a little bit sooner than this. I'm thinking by about 3 o'clock in the morning. This will continue through East Alabama, and I'm thinking by about 5 a.m. This is predominantly east of I-65. We will see a Boeing segment or a part of the line south that might be up near Montgomery by this point in time. But the general idea is a lot of this is going to move through in between sunset and sunrise. Another reason why the severe threat is what it is pretty low, is just because we don't have a ton of instability in place when it occurs in between there. So that's a question for Talladega too. We'll get to that in just a second here. We moved to about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and now the rain's pretty much done. If you're down in the Wiregrass, you might have a line of showers, perhaps some thunderstorms there, but by this point, it's a decaying line of rain and thunderstorms, and there's not really much of a threat with what is happening at that point in the day. So, with that in mind, Talladega forecast. This has been a question all week. So, me and my family used to camp, and when we would, obviously, if there was rain or anything inclement, that would not be fun. We were in a tent. Oh, so we didn't even have that fancy camper. Here's the deal: if you are going to be out and about, say early in the day, maybe going to the souvenir tents, maybe you're walking around the infield. Whatever you might be doing, the best chance of rain is going to be very early in the day. At 9 o'clock might be pushing that late window. The big impact might be the fact that it's going to be really breezy tomorrow. We're going to have a scenario where a front is coming through, our temperatures are going to be dropping, and it's going to be much, much cooler. So that was a big question as well. We go back to the radar now, since that's kind of been the story is what's happening here. So we're a little bit after 12 o'clock. It's 12:15. I thought, I'm watching this, might as well do a little update here. And band of thunderstorms coming up towards Fayette. I'm going to take the laps off here, and we will look at just the static radar to get an idea of what this is looking like as of now. So if we go on over to, so this is northwestern Fayette County here, and you just have a pretty decent area of heavy rain. That's all this is, and that's kind of what the trend has been. So when we look here, honestly, on the lead edge of these, sometimes when you see like a bowing segment like this, it usually means our winds are a little bit stronger aloft, right? So you've got your winds in the upper levels, not at the surface, will sometimes come down, cascade down in front of that line of storms, and that's where your strongest part will be. Now, with that said, I don't think these winds are very strong. This just happens to be, again, 35 miles an hour aloft, nothing. That's not a concerning number there, but if you are in Fayette, it's probably about to get breezy for a few minutes. The rain will be fairly heavy, and then it'll be done. And then we shift down here, and this is where we actually do have a warning in progress. This is Noxubee, Mississippi. Here's US 45. If you've ever driven that route, not fun. Not fun at all. It goes in the middle of nowhere, so we don't have any reports, but not to say that we would. This does not look severe to me at all. So again, if you're in Pickens County, you might have a louder thunderstorm there, but all in all, things are looking pretty good. So from a watch warning perspective, there's not a lot happening in Alabama. That's not to say that it won't. It's just at the moment, the only watch is over in Mississippi, and that tornado watch will probably be allowed to expire here in some cases a bit sooner than it goes until. So right now, Alabama is okay, but we haven't had rain in a while, and this is a good thing. So again, a bonus there in that sense. We need the rain. I just had a lot of questions about, is there anything severe? So I thought, what the heck? We'll hop on here really quick. So hope everybody has a good night. Again, the storm line for the moment is sub-severe. The sounding from earlier today showed an atmospheric profile that's not only fairly stable, but also pretty dry. There's not a ton of moisture to work with here in the atmosphere, which is another important parameter when it comes to getting these storms and having things going vertically in the atmosphere and condensing and getting things going. So not the best environment, which is a good thing. But rain, some thunder overnight, and sure, if anything happens, I'll hop back on here. But hope everyone has a good Saturday night, I guess, or Sunday morning, however you want to look at it. And know that severe weather is not zero. It's just very low here for the next several hours. So watch it closely. Hope you guys have a good one. And if you're going to Talladega, enjoy. That is a heck of a time. And for those of you who have asked, no, the tornado threat does not appear here at all. I thought if the line stayed maybe a little bit stronger, there might be a little bit, we call it a kink in the line, where you'll see a bowing segment, and on the northern end, you kind of have this little eddy, if you will. And you can see those on radar, and a lot of times that's your wind profiles at different parts of the line. It'll create this sort of rotation within the line. That has not come to fruition at all. So I don't think there's any tornado threat with this. Honestly, the wind threat appears to be dropping. Again, we'll watch the southern edge of this line that's coming out of Noxubee County, perhaps Kemper County, and we'll see if any of those ramp up. But again, bit breezy. No threat of any tornadoes tonight. Just some very beneficial rain. So hope you guys have a great night. See you next time.